Yo, 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 no maniacs. Welcome to the show. This is Nomad Live in conjunction with Sports Zone Chicago and the SuperBack, who is not here right now. Shawn Sierra, kid, you are on mute. Brian, you wanna pull yourself out of there. Thank you. And guess what, man? Late night polls struck again, man. Midnight polls. Got busy last night, man. It got out there and made some stuff happen, and he's just continuing to make some stuff happen. And here into today, I got some breaking news in case people came to the show and didn't go over and check, the breaking news on the apps and on ESPN. Man, we still got some breaking news to talk about. Some really good breaking news. But before we get all the way into all of that, we're gonna get into the topic of the show, which is what is the question? Do right by Justin, and what does that really mean? We're gonna get into that, but we got some news to get to first. But let's go around the horn real quick and get some pleasantries out, Chris.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's good to see everybody join us today. Look, guys, we want to say thanks again for your unwavering support. We appreciate it. You taking your time out to come listen to us talk. That means a lot to us. Love you guys. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the share button. Turn on notifications. This is the time of year where anything can happen, so we're subject to pop up anytime. Good to see my brothers in the chat, in the panel again. Kids, what you know, man?
Them things. No Maniacs was cracking. Good to see you guys on a Friday. We'll keep things short but sweet. Love the fact that you're all in here interacting in the chat already on a Friday afternoon. I'm gonna throw things over to Keith so we can get into the what conversation. Keith,
what's going on, everybody? No Maniac Sports Zoners, how y'all doing on this Friday afternoon? Yes, sir. We about to chop it up and talk some Bears football. To all my people in the Chicagoland area that's watching, hey, what's going on? To my man V-Dub out there in Detroit. Do your thing, my man. And I got to give a special hello to my guy out in Tampa Bay, Florida. Yes, we are out in Florida now. Y'all folks is checking us out there. My man Stewart, what's going on? And to his number one girl, his daughter, who is a big time Justin Fields fan. I told her I'd give her a shout out today. So what's going on there, Miss Sophie Stewart? Justin Fields ain't going nowhere, girl. Anyway, no man, take it away, brother.
Well, hey, kid, if you can help Brian out with the chat while we'll just go back and forth. I hear you talking, I'll jump. You hear me talking, you jump.
Gotcha.
Appreciate it. But so, let's get into some breaking news, man. We'll start at the lower end of the spectrum, I guess. You know what? Before we do that, man, let's send some. Because let me tell you something, man. When I tell you I got football in my veins, I was born with it. I got respect for the guys that played the game at a high level, and their time has come and gone, man. So we got some name-worthy people that have retired, man, that put a lot of work into this game. Most people don't really understand what you have to do just to get prepared for a game and the kind of rigors that you put on your mind. It's a mind whipping and a body whipping for years and years and years. And, some of these guys that played at the highest level and got it done, namely Aaron Donald. Shout out to Aaron Donald and happy retirement. Jason Kelsey. I almost said Travis Kelsey. Jason Kelsey has retired. Special teams demon Matthew Slater. Offensive lineman Ryan Jensen, and one of my favorite three techs is Fletcher Cox. All called it quits, man. Hell of a football players. A couple of them will probably be in the Hall of Fame at least. And Aaron Donald's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
First ballot.
And so shout out to them guys, man, for a hell of you survived the wars, you kept your body intact, and speaking, namely Aaron Donald was going out at the top of his career. So shout out to those guys. Anybody want to chip in with that? Feel free.
Well, you know what, man? Aaron Donald, I still have never gotten over the fact that the Rams took him one pick before we got him in the 2014 draft. I was holding my breath because he was a player that I just loved coming out of the pit. I was surprised he would even last that long, but I didn't think when he got to 13, I didn't think the Rams would draft him because they had invested so heavily in their defensive line in prior years. But just our luck, they swooped him up, and we missed out on a first ballot Hall of Famer. We did get Kyle Fuller, but and Fuller played well. He has a couple of All-Pro years, but shout out to that dude, man. He's probably the greatest pure defensive tackle that's ever played. And I mean, you might get some argument from a few people, but the impact that dude had on the game is unquestioned. Shout out to Fletcher Cox too. Is one of my favorite players in the league, even though he played for Philly, which is not one of my favorite teams. So, yeah, shout out to those guys. Both going to Hall of Fame.
I know Greg Gabriel didn't say Aaron Donald was going to be a bust. I know he didn't say that.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he did, that's enough to get you fired. He was one of the guys that I saw when I saw him play at Pitt, man. I mean, you guys probably won't believe me, but I told one of my buddies, I said, man, this guy might end up in the Hall of Fame. He's that good. And here we are.
And here we are. Yeah, good. Sad to see those guys hang it up and call it a day. It would be much more sad if I was a fan of Philly or the Rams. It's a little bit less sad considering I'm a Bears fan. I'm going to kind of leave it right there. Aaron Donald's a monster, and so is Fletcher Cox. But at the end of the day, looks like both of those teams require a fair amount of, except for Philly. I was going to say a fair amount of retooling. Philly doesn't necessarily need a lot of retooling, even minus Fletcher. But his impression will be felt, or the lack thereof will definitely be felt next season. So good to both, good on both of them. Stellar careers, and very likely for both of them, I think. Definitely Aaron Donald. There might be some Yellow Jackets in the near future.
Jason Kelce might be a Hall of Famer too.
I think Kelce definitely is.
Yeah,
I think
he's definitely a Hall of Famer. I don't know if he goes first. He might even go first ballot because of all the notoriety of the Kelce name, but he was a heck of a player, that's for sure. I mean, even to the end, he was a Pro Bowler last year, so.
I mean, you don't, offensive linemen, you're not really supposed to know who they are. That's sort of how that works, right? You want, when you hear that name, it's generally a penalty. So, when you're a notable offensive lineman like Jason Kelce is, there's a reason for it. He's amazing at what he does, and I again definitely believe that he will be vying for a Yellow Jacket in the near future.
Go ahead, Keith.
Well, I just want to say stellar careers for all those gentlemen that participated and played in the NFL, definitely. Man, I was surprised when I got the news about Aaron Donald, man. I've been a fan of his, even though he never wore a Bears jersey, but the dude was just, I think it's irreplaceable. That's going to be some major retooling they're going to have to do along their defensive line. But hats off, man. He went out on his own terms and he went out on top. So can't be mad at him for that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
That's what you want to do. That's typically how you want to go out, man. Not forced out. Go out on your own terms. And those guys are going out on their own terms, man. So hats off to them, man. And I just hope that they have some really great careers after the fact, whether it be within the media or whatever they choose to do, man. I just wish them all the best. Just wish them all the best.
Shout out one more time to those guys, man. A hell of a career, man. Especially those top two guys we were talking about. Three guys: Kelce, Aaron Donald, and what's his name, Fletcher Cox. Man, hellified careers, man. So, but we got to move on, man. Let's talk about Kenny Pickett traded to the Eagles. Kids, Chris, Keith, there's been a narrative going around. I'm sure you all have heard about it, so I won't talk too much about it. Let y'all handle it. Go ahead, Chris.
What is the narrative? I mean,
I'll let them.
If it has anything to do with
we're trading Justin every damn where. Just know that.
Listen, I've told you guys, they're not going to trade Justin Fields. They're not going to do anything until Caleb Williams has medicals released. It will not happen. All this talk in the last 2 weeks, nobody wants him. He doesn't have a trade market. He's going to have to play backup to Jalen Hurts. It's all ridiculous. Where did he end up going?
He's at the Eagles.
Yeah. So there's your backup to Jalen Hurts, okay? So, you know what? I'm just about sick of it right now. And you can see the narrative, the national narrative is starting to back away. They're entering the possibility of Justin being here next year. They're slowly backing off. Even the local media is starting to back away, because if you put the pieces of the puzzle together, it shows you. I mean, that fact alone that they don't have medicals on Caleb, that is indisputable, that there hasn't been a trade in place. Now, that was a curveball that got thrown to him at the combine, and they didn't know that was going to happen. So they wanted to have this all said and done before now. But you just watch what I tell you. 21st, that's when water starts getting hot on something happening, and that's just a few days away. Can't
Yes,
wait.
it is.
We're on our way. We'll be there soon. Yeah, man. I don't know. Like Kenny Pickett will make for a decent backup in Philly, I suppose. He doesn't really play a very similar style of football as their present guys. So we'll see how that works out. Yes, maybe maybe Justin Fields winds up in Pittsburgh. Maybe he winds up as the true backup in Philly. I don't think any of those things are going to happen. It looks like the writing is on the wall, especially for the given narrative out there. But I suppose the name of the game right now is grasping at straws. So we'll allow them to continue to grasp.
Well, considering the fact that that was the other spot that Justin's supposed to be going to be a backup, I guess now we just have to draft Caleb and let them fight it out in the quarterback room and figure out who's going to battle to be the starting quarterback for us. It seems to be that's what the national media is saying. So it is what it is, man. I guess we're gonna have to listen to them because we don't know anything, and the tea leaves are not spelling that out apparently. So all I know, man, is that gumbo is smelling much better each and every day. I tell you, I'm loving it. And he at 9 o'clock last night, Pose walked in and dropped the main ingredient.
Hold it, Keith. I know you're ready to get on it. Hold on, hold that, because we got some other news that's you gonna spill into.
Keith was mid sprinkle. He was about to sprinkle. And you stopped.
Trying to cook that gumbo. He
He can't help himself, man.
Mid sprinkle.
Man. All right, we got a couple of pieces of news to get to, man. Some things we need to discuss, man.
All right.
Some cap casualties starting to emerge on the market that weren't there at the beginning of free agency. Namely, one in particular, Michael Gallup just got released by the Cowboys.
No.
Yes.
So did Leighton Vander Esch.
And go ahead, Chris.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Leighton Vander Esch got released too.
You had to know that he was hurt, man. He
had problems when he was coming out of Boise State. Yeah, it was one of those. But you know what? I liked him as a player, but he just couldn't stay off the injury list. So he's been released too. Michael Gallup, decent wideout, not upper echelon, but second tier. I don't think it matters. The guy we can't talk about yet is in place, so it doesn't really affect me.
What do you think about Michael Gallup being out there, and he's a cap casualty, so wherever he goes, it's going to have to be. Well, you don't think we'll probably pick him up, so I'm
No.
glad you said that. All right. So
No, I don't think there's a problem. I mean, how we're going? We could give him a 1-year contract, but I think Poles is pretty much done. I think we needed that wide receiver, and he's going to be pretty much done until he gets some more picks.
I'm right there with you, man. Right?
Unless he picks up an edge, he might be still. Chase Young is probably still in the contract.
Well, that's still on the table. I thought you were really referring to the WR position.
Yes.
Without us getting deep into that, it does sound like he may be finished there. So I won't get too deep into it. I'll throw it over to Keith and/or Nomad so we can get there.
Well, hey, I'm surprised to hear that Gallup is is out there, but at the same time, I don't know what Cowboys are doing, and I'm down here in Texas. And needless to say, I'm here to tell you right now, these Cowboy fans are going crazy because they are not quite understanding why their team has not dove into the free agency market like they thought they would. So, other than that, man, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to Nomad.
Well, in other news, I like the idea of him being out there. I'm with Chris, and right about now, we don't have a whole lot of flexibility after the Keenan Allen signing last night. So what I'm gonna get to next is probably going to surprise some people. Maybe some people don't know who this player is, but the Tennessee Titans went and got a player last year who was drafted under. Why I'm bringing this up, it's important. Under Ian Cunningham when he was with the Eagles, he's an offensive tackle by the name of Andre Dillard. That was their first pickup in free agency last year. For some reason, I mean, he was a standout backup offensive tackle when he was with the Eagles, but for some reason, I don't know what happened. But when he went to Tennessee, it all went to hell on him. I mean, it all went to hell on him. And now they're willing to eat $10 million in cap space, take a $10 million cap hit just to release him.
And guys, let me interrupt you real quick, Nomad, because I just became aware that the Bears have signed another wide receiver.
No, whoa! Don't say it. I'm getting there, Chris. You're messing up the flow, man.
Okay, flow.
I got you covered, man. And so we're talking about Andre Dillard, who just got released, and it's a $10 million cap hit for the Titans. You talk about a team that needs some offensive tackles. You talk about the connections of Ian Cunningham. I don't know how familiar you all are with Andre Dillard, but I spent quite a bit of time studying him because I knew that he was in the runnings of being a signing with us last year, and it just so happened that Tennessee beat us out. I heard Tennessee beat us out, and that the Bears were hot on his trail because of the connection that Ian Cunningham had. And so here we are, a year after a season gone by. He bombed in Tennessee, and now he's back on the market. If anybody knows anything about him and wants to talk about him, go ahead. But I think that's a significant piece that's just sitting out there.
Well, I remember him at Washington State. I kind of lost track of him. And he was a first round pick, but he's kind of fell off the map. I mean, he never really started a few games for Tennessee last year, but I don't know that. I mean, I'm not going to say they won't because we still need as much depth on the front offensive line as we can get. But it's an interesting name. I mean, the guy's a first rounder. He's got some talent. He just after playing in Philly, for 3 years, he just never reached the first round potential.
Dillard is about 6'5", 6'6", maybe about he's every bit of 330 pounds.
So he's 6'5", 315. You're pretty darn close.
Yeah. And so I know not very many people know who he is, but he's a good, interesting study if you guys want to do some extra homework when you got some downtime and you kind of want to study the market and see what's out there, the players that are out there. Yes, he was awful in Tennessee, but you go and watch the Philly tape and you wouldn't think so much. I don't know what the hell happened when he was there.
And we're here in the chat, Creighton Wilfong. Hey, shout out to you, Creighton. He just
shout out to Creighton.
That he gave up 10 sacks last year, so that might be part of the reason too.
No, that's the whole reason.
Absolutely the reason. What I'm saying is, he played up. He started quite a few games when he was at Philly, and he showed no signs of that. Something happened. What I'm getting at is something happened in Tennessee. Something was out of joint, man. That's not the same football player that was in Philly. I'm telling you.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to say, brother. But I think right now it looks like anything else going to be added to the team in terms of depth pieces for that offensive line. I see Poles, approaching that, sometime somewhere in the draft. I don't see him doing anything else free agency wise as far as the offensive line. Not when he can go and get some pieces to add depth and development and save a ton of money by doing so in the draft.
Oh, you're right. He's infused starter caliber depth at all of the positions of need right now, and that's fantastic. So it's just going to be Christmas come the draft in April.
I don't know why people are effing texting me during the show knowing we're live. That's ridiculous. But
I got the same thing going on here.
But yeah, man, let's move on from that, man. Let's get into the breaking news that's going on with the Bears right now. Andre, I'm listening to you. I see you. And so we just signed a guy that had a super. You talk about putting the pieces together and following the breadcrumbs and reading the writing on the wall, man. A guy that had a real serious, high-level connection with Justin Fields just got re-signed to the team, and that is we just re-signed Dante Pettis. So, Chris, you want to speak on that? You almost broke that news anyway.
Well, it's news. It ain't really breaking news. I
It
mean,
is to me.
I know you. I know you're pro player, man, and I get it. But I think right now he's probably just a depth piece. I think he's a camp body, really. So I didn't really jump for joy when I saw it. I just thought I'd throw it in there. Go ahead, kids. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, like that's not terrible, right? He was the one guy that he was the one guy 2 years ago who was semi-reliable. Outside of Darnell Mooney, he was semi-reliable, except for the fact that he got hurt. And then he got hurt again just before the season started. So I'm not mad if they bring him back. I think he actually played pretty well in a Bears uniform. Could he have played better? Sure. But again, we're in the middle of a tank season, so won't hold those things against Dante Pettis. I think again from a depth perspective, now you've got Pettis, who I believe is pretty reliable. You got Velus Jones and you got Tyler Scott back there. Outside of the other two guys being being DJ Moore and am I allowed to say the other guy's name, or are we going to make a big announcement?
No, man. Let's hold
on. All right, fine.
Well, well, I think like this, man. It's two things. One, the connection with Justin, but more importantly, adding more depth to that wide receiver room, but more importantly, adding depth to because you think about it, Pettis was a pretty doggone good special teams contributor also.
Yes, he is.
So adding that, some hands, making sure we got some hands on, whether it be punt return or kickoff return, but more importantly, that wide receiver room. And I would say this: I think he didn't do quite as well when he was here on his first stint, was because again, the guy that is no longer here, but is up in Las Vegas. So, hey, I'm just glad that Poles is, maybe circling the wagon and think that much of him to bring him. You got to think that much of him to bring him back. So let's see what he does.
What I heard, and I don't have any source to really back it up. It's just people, talking and people that kind of know those guys. Him and Justin were pretty cool and close. They wanted to bring him back last year after the Chase Claypool got moved, but I think from what I heard and what I understood was Dante Pettis wanted to give him. He had some stuff going on, and he felt like he needed a year off to take care of himself. You know what I mean? What that meant, was it physically? Was it mentally? I have no idea. But I definitely heard that going into the part of the season when Chase Claypool got moved. And so I think they wanted to bring him back because of the connection him and Justin had. And they had a good one, man. People can I don't think people are being dismissive of him right now. I think, call him a camp body, Chris. I think that's a little bit, I think he's a little bit better than a camp body. Dante Pettis is going to win one of those jobs. I'm telling you, he's just good at wiggling and getting himself open. His hands aren't the best in the world, but him and Justin definitely had a connection. And if you're Poles and you need to shore up the comfortability of your quarterback, and what kind of connection that he and Dante Pettis had, that is absolutely a great signing. And he added value in punt return, but I just don't consider him a camp body. I think Dante Pettis is better than that. But I digress. Anybody else want to touch on Dante Pettis before we get to the big news?
Not really, but I fully agree with you. I don't think he's a camp body at all. I think he brings an element. He's a veteran. He brings a solid element to the offense. Unfortunately, again, he got injured.
Hold on, Kedz. You got a quick question. Go ahead.
Where's it at? Bring it back.
Brian just took it down.
Lou LaShaw?
No. It's up from Pepe. I think it's somebody Sanchez, Jose Sanchez, I think. There you go.
Jose. Hey, Kedz. Quick observation. Maybe you guys spoke on this. With the moves that the Commanders made, isn't that an indicator that they're preparing to make the Bears an offer for the number 1 pick?
Well, they're getting rid of draft picks, feeling good about something, ain't they?
Okay, Jose. Yes, they're stockpiling picks, right? They're stockpiling picks. They're trading out. They're clearing room. The room they cleared was their quarterback. Quarterback is gone now. Sam Howell's gone. Where did Sam Howell go, Chris?
Sam Howell went to Seattle, I believe.
Yeah, I think.
Thank you very much. That's where he went. I don't honestly care where he went, but I figure other people do. The reality is, yeah, those guys need a quarterback. And it seems to me that they're going to draft one. I was listening to I'm not a big Twitter guy. I was on Twitter listening to some Washington Spaces today, just listening. And they're pining for Caleb Williams. They're all ready to go. They see the light, they see the writing on the wall the same way we see the writing on the wall. It's just from the other angle. They're talking about stuff like maybe we can do this trade for one second round pick and maybe next year's one. So 3 picks total. And I just had to jump in there and let my make my impression felt and said, no, you guys need to drop your pants. And then I hung up on the space, left the space because basically they are also up against their division rival being the New York Giants. Not to say that they're leading in the trade in any capacity, but you definitely have to worry a little bit if the Giants actually do make some level of make their interest known that they may want to jump up to the first round pick and select a quarterback as well. So they don't want to mess with that. They want to put butts in the seats. So I smell what you're cooking here, Jose, and I also smell what Washington Commanders are cooking. I think there may be a trade in the works. That's just me.
And so how about this, man? Polls got up and got everybody up, man. Stirred everybody up. In the middle of the night, he trades for Keenan Allen for a 4th rounder. We're already down to 5 picks. We're already down to 5 picks. So let me go ahead and paint the picture. Here we are down to 5 picks, and in the middle of the night, Midnight Polls hits again. Trades for who I regard as probably the most savvy route runner in the NFL. A lot of people that play football would probably agree with that, and the players would. Keenan Allen is an expert at getting open, absolute expert. And I said this on Shawn's show this morning. And if you guys want to really see, what Keenan Allen brings to the table, Steve Smith does a breakdown. So just Google Steve Smith breaks down Keenan Allen, and you get a good in-depth detail as to why I just said what I said. There is I was excited, and it stayed with me like that till about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning until I started to kind of wind down a little bit. Shawn called me, and I was just like, oh, man. And he wanted me to come do a show in the morning. I was just like, I'm jacked up. I ain't going to get no sleep, and you want me to get up and watch and do your show. But I got up and we did it, man. But that's a move. How about this, man? I'll let you guys give your take on it, and I'll clean it up at the end. Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead, kids.
Okay. Hey, guys, we got a wide receiver too, guys, and he's a wide receiver 1. That's basically where we're at, so I'll give it a little bit of love, a little bit of hype. We got DJ Moore on one side. We got the veteran Keenan Allen on the other side. We now potentially have Dante Pettis in the middle. Odds are we're going to draft some level of wide receiver in the draft to really bring some power to that offense. We got ourselves a running back on top of the running back game that we have. We've got depth at the offensive line. We've got an offense, guys. We're not talking about, Darnell Mooney, Dante Pettis, and whoever else we can find on the streets, Brian Pringle, EQ St. Brown. That's not what we're talking about anymore. We're talking about an actual NFL caliber, NFL leading offense. Those 2 wide receivers alone as a tandem put up. There's only one wide receiver tandem in the NFL that's put up larger numbers in theory than these 2 guys together on a team. Like they've never been together on a team before. That would be Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in Miami. I don't know what the exact numbers are. They lead the league as a duo. But if you put these 2 guys together on a team as a duo, their numbers rival the number 1 wide receiver duo in the league. That's pretty crazy. You bring stability to that position. My guy Keith and me yesterday, before this popped off, me and Keith were going back and forth, and Chris too, not to take you out the conversation. The three of us were going back and forth as to whether we should double dip at wide receiver in the draft. And Keith said, wait a minute. We might want to have somebody who's already developed to help bring these new guys along, whether we get one or two in the draft. And I had to stop and I had to agree with Keith. I was, Keith, you know what? That's smart thinking right there. Maybe he does go and get a wide receiver too somewhere out there in the world. And then, a couple hours later, Curtis Samuel disappears. And I was like, oh, that's starting to get slim now. I'm not sure what he's going to do. My guy goes out and underneath and around and decides who needs a 4th round pick. I can get a leading number 1 wide receiver from a pretty solid offense and put him on the other side of DJ Moore. Now what do we need? Now we need somebody who can take that top off. So I'm expecting Malik Neighbors. I'm going to say it right now. The other guy that I would expect maybe might be a Xavier Worthy. Those are 2 guys I'm going to put out there. Brian Thomas Jr. is not far out, and neither is Marvin Harrison Jr. So, hey, any of those 4 guys, I'm super happy. I think the offense will look disgusting next year. That's my 2 cents. Keith, I know you're hyped.
Oh man, yes I am. I'm here to tell you, man. Last night when my phone just started going off the chain, and I was like, "What is going on?" And I was like, "Oh, snap!" No, he did not. Ryan Poles pulls it off again, and I loved it because it was after hours when nobody was expecting anything. I look at it like this, man. Imagine this. Everybody's been complaining that Justin Fields has not been able to throw for 3,000 plus yards a season. Imagine this. You got DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. Both those guys are well over 1,000-yard receivers, okay? Then you got Cole Kmet that can give you a good 7, possibly 800 yards of receiving. We also added Everett. We can't forget about him also.
Thank you for doing that. I think it was Larry T in the chat kind of clued me in. He was like, Kedz, you forgot about the tight end.
Yeah, so we added Everett too, man. So we added Everett. So if you think about it, whoever we add in the draft, whether it be Marvin Harrison Jr., whether it be Malik Neighbors, whether it be Rome Aduzier, whether it be Keon Coleman, right now what we need to add is somebody that, one, we know got great hands, but we need somebody that can take the top off of the defense. We do that, it's going to be, I'm here to tell you, it's going to be scary. I know that we got some folks that's paying attention and watching us out there in D-Town. Yeah, we coming for y'all.
Brad Holmes,
what it is. We coming. Green Bay, we coming. Ryan Poles is making his move, y'all, and no matter what we want to say and who we think is going to may or may not be at the quarterback position, I will say this. I'm not a gambler. So trust me when I tell you, if I say I'm willing to bet money on it, that means I'm trying to hold on to the last $20 I got in my pocket. But I don't see any of these guys coming here without being told what's really going on at that quarterback position. Keenan Allen's not going to hitch his wagon to a rookie quarterback, and neither of the other free agents that signed. That's just my take on it. But again, what do I know? I'm just on a podcast.
Somebody just
keep in mind that Keenan Allen didn't have a whole lot of say. He was traded.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. They asked him, and he told them where he wanted to go. That came out.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that.
Also,
anyway,
you was asleep, old man.
Someone
don't get older.
Let me ask you. Let me add this to it before you respond, Chris. Also, I almost sent you this, but someone asked him, who was he looking forward to playing with, and he said Justin Fields, 100%. I couldn't source it all out, but that's something I saw. I was going to send it to you, but you just didn't have time to do it.
Well, last night when I heard the news that we had traded for him, the term bridge came into my mind. Because you always hear bridge quarterback, you hear it used with quarterback position, but I do think since he's only he's got a 1-year deal, he'll be 32. Obviously a great player, with great leadership in the wide receiver room. So this just confirms to me that they are going to invest in a wide receiver at some point, and I would say sooner rather than later. I hope it's Brian Thomas Jr., man. That's the kid that jumps out at me.
Here's what I think is going on. Hold on, kid, just for 1 minute, because I gotta.
Mhm.
Here's what I think is going on. I'm gonna try to paint this complete picture, and hopefully you guys could kind of see what I'm doing. I think under the circumstances now, you want to. I think getting Keenan Allen changes nothing about the amount of receivers because he's 32, I think, or 31 or
Yeah.
32, getting ready to have a birthday here soon, and he's going to be a year older. Also, not that doesn't he just had the best season of his career, so all that his number, his age, forget all that. He won't have to put the kind of he won't have to put the kind of pressure on himself that he did when he was with the Chargers because you got DJ Moore on the other side. You didn't have to worry about 11 to 15 catches a game because you got DJ Moore on the other side. He rarely had Mike Williams on the field with him at the same time, and he was counting on to kind of win games for him. And so he won't put nearly the wear and tear on his body here in Chicago as he did out in LA. Here's the thing. You know that you want to double down in the draft because the receiver class is that good. The offensive line class is that good. You know you want to get extra picks to get those two positions. You want to jump in there and get as much as you can. I know they're thinking that. I'm not thinking they're thinking that. They've said as much. It's a very, very highly talented offensive line class, offensive tackle in particular, and the receiver class is outstanding. And so I know they want to get in there early and get some picks, and I know they want to get a couple of receivers. I think this is the perfect time to onboard a couple of receivers. Why? They got two veterans to learn from, two wily veterans to learn from, and it's the perfect time to do that. I think they're setting this up with that in mind, number one. Number two, you don't get a 32 pushing 33-year-old receiver to come and take your time and bring a rookie quarterback along. I don't think Keenan Allen would have signed that or co-signed that to come here, knowing that we're going to draft a rookie quarterback. I don't give a damn how good you think he is. I just don't think Keenan Allen would have gone along with that. That's just me. But what I think is, I think there are people out here that are so dead set on we have to control this narrative. They're still going to draft. Man, dude, let me point something out to everybody. And Kedz and Keith and Chris, you tell me if I'm off or not. Ryan Poles doesn't strike me as the kind of man. I think he's a good man. I think his admiration for Justin Fields is real. I don't think there's any chance in the world he strings Justin Fields along like this far into the situation and build a team that he's been looking for the whole time, put the kind of infrastructure around him the whole time he's been here. He's been waiting for that, and then trade him and then just drop him off. He doesn't strike me as that kind of man. And so everybody's just thinking, he's just pulling Justin along and he's just going to drop him off somewhere. And it doesn't make any sense to me, but people are trying to make as much sense of it as they humanly can. And it still sounds crazy. But what do I know? What do you guys think?
Well, the first thing I thought about, I looked at some of the pictures that were taken, and it's obvious that Justin and Ryan Poles had developed a good relationship. You see several pictures of them hugging. After the Washington game, there was a lot of stuff going on in the locker room. And the thing that's always bothered me is this talk that, well, wasn't drafted by Ryan Poles. He's not Ryan Poles' guy. And you know what? That's to me the act is like it has to be. You have to, as a general manager, draft your own quarterback. And I don't believe that. Why can't he have developed a relationship with Justin? He sees the rare talent Justin has. What is there about this kid that you can't like? You got to. So, I just think, like the thumb says, the doing right. Doing right means more than just letting him know where we're going to trade you to. Doing right means I'm going to let you in on what we're going to do. And so you know the direction the team is going. That to me is exactly what the doing right phrase that people have repeated so much in this offseason. That's what it means. It doesn't mean that, okay, I'll let you know where you're going to be. We'll let you in on the secret as soon as we can.
Man, I'm just hype about the whole thing. It looks like he's staying to me. I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't have much more to say on the situation. Keith, what about you, man?
Okay,
All
well,
right,
take the afternoon off, kids.
I might. It is Friday. It is
I'm gonna
Friday.
address it. I'm gonna address it like this. First and foremost, Nomad, to double down on what you said, I agree with you. I don't get that. I don't get that from Poles in terms of the type of individual he is. He seems like a guy that is very true to his word. I don't think he would toy with the young man emotions like that, especially the fact that I do also feel that they establish a pretty good relationship and rapport with one another. But somebody, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. Bear Truth 9 put it out there, and he made sure he put it in all caps that it's business. So since you want to speak on it being business, let's take it at that. Ryan Poles, as a businessman, has shown that he's about getting a return on his investment, whether he initially drafted you or not. Since you are a commodity of the organization, you're his investment. So with that being said, wouldn't he want to get the most return on his investment? So why would he hold on to one of the key pieces of his organization that could get him, whether it's a second rounder, possibly a first or a third? Don't you think that he would have got, if this particular individual either was that bad, he would have gotten rid of him before he gotten rid of Getsy, or he'd have sent Getsy out the door, sent Fields out the door. For that matter, he'd have gotten rid of Flus and just said, you know what, I got to get what I want in here to move this thing forward. So what did he do? He addressed this, he assessed the situation. He got rid of Getsy and his entire staff. That's business. Because if you are an employer and your employee is not doing the job, you're not going to get rid of your managers and supervisors. You're going to get rid of the employee. So by us breaking it down that way, and it's business, he's holding on to the face of his organization. And because of that individual being a part of the organization, he was able to bring in some key free agents to help build and move this thing along, right along that he envisioned it by. Again, remember, we did win 7 games last season. So adding these key pieces, now you can just about assure, barring any serious injuries, an additional 3 to 4 wins, maybe even 5 wins on top of that. So you're looking at a team now that is definitely shooting for win now, looking to get involved and be active players in the playoffs and see how far of a run they can make. I tell you one thing, I guarantee you every team in the NFC North right now is paying attention and saying, uh-oh, what's finna happen? So that's business.
Okay, so how about this, man? Let's take a quick station ID, and on the other side of that, we'll allow kids to get to some of these super chats, and people are in there being super duper generous, and we appreciate you guys. Not going to leave you out. So we're going to take a station ID. We'll get to kids in the super chats, and then we'll pick up the conversation afterwards.
The best Chicago Bears content anywhere. Catch Nomad live pregame 1 hour prior to kickoff, and Nomad at night postgame, and every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central on all the most popular streaming platforms, and only on the Nomad Network.
That is right, everybody, man. You guys are killing it with the energy. You guys are killing it with the support, and we are moving briskly right along the path that we wanted to be, and it's because of you guys, man. So please keep up the support. And if you have not liked, and I heard there wasn't that many likes on the show, please stop and hit the like button if you do nothing else. But if you're new to the show and you really want to help us along, please subscribe to the channel, and also subscribe to Sports Zone Chicago over there on my guy Shawn's network. We would really, really super duper appreciate that. But before I carry on, Kids has got a bunch of super chats to get to. Let's talk to the generous people.
All right. So even before I do that, I have news from CTESPN Network that I want to share with you guys. So our guy, the guy who got laced by Vontaze Burfict, says sources, breaking news: Chicago Bears front office wanted to take Caleb Williams and trade Justin Fields, but the whole team made it known that Justin was their quarterback. The Bears are attempting to trade the number 1 pick. If the price isn't right, then they will look at wide receiver. You know what? I after watching him run off the field that final game and take his shirt off and throw it around, I'm pretty sure he might have some CTE, and he's well acknowledged that with the name of his network. But I don't think he's very far off on this one. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but hey, super chats away. Jerry Billings, $5. Big Jerry, thanks for rocking with us as per normal. Do you guys have any worries about Justin going to the Steelers now that Pickett is gone? So we touched on that a little bit towards the beginning of the show. Honest to goodness, very doubtful that anything's going to happen there. I have a strange feeling, guys, that little clip that you saw of Justin running saying, "Yo, let's go," in his kitchen was his agent saying, "You're not going anywhere, bro. They're going to build around you. Bears win, baby. Bears win." I love it.
No way they're trading into no dang on no Pittsburgh, Jerry. Don't even worry about it. But go ahead.
And not to mention, Pittsburgh's got Russell Wilson for free this year, more or less. So next year, maybe, right? Like, I don't know what else to say, but I'm pretty sure Justin Fields is a Chicago Bear in the year 2024. I know how much that hurts certain human beings out there and certain news networks, but I just don't see it going any other way. Lula Shah or Lula Chat?
Thank you so much, Lou. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I had to say that.
Thank you, Lou. That's our girl. She had nothing to say, but she's putting our kids through college. I love you for it. I appreciate it. Terry Anderson, just picking up a hype super sticker, Terry. I'm just as hype as you about Keenan Allen. This offense is starting to look like an NFL offense. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but that's how I'm seeing it.
Magnum TA. What's up, Terry?
See, there's Terry. And then we got Jason. Justin would be asking for a trade by now if he was truly in the gray area. And I fully agree, right? Like and so does Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles came out and he specifically said something to this effect a couple of weeks ago, right? He's like, I don't want to leave the kid in limbo for an extended period of time. He's already been in limbo. This is definitely, mentally exhausting to say the least. I want to do right by the kid, and this is what Nomad was sort of saying a couple minutes ago. I have a feeling
that kids, what kind of job would his agents be doing for allowing this and not making some moves for him? And we know about it by now if that were the case, unless they got assurances.
Absolutely.
That's very true. And the way that you kind of have to round this situation out and look at it a little bit, and both Keith and Nomad touched on it a little bit. The fact of the matter is, again, there was a tank season in all of this, and at some point during that tank season, I'm very certain that Ryan Poles, as the GM, had to have a conversation with Matt Eberflus and Justin Fields specifically, and say, "Hey guys, this is not going to make you guys look very good. You're not going to look great at the end of this season. You're just not." So, I'll stick by you.
I'll stick by you. My biggest hope, and it probably won't happen, but after all this is said and done, and Justin Fields is still here, I really want Ryan Poles to come out and say, "Hey, look, Justin was never going to be traded." I doubt that he'll do that, but I wish he would, just so the egg would be flying on the faces of those who had him gone.
So you want him to come to the desk, right after the draft with a troll doll. With a troll doll just brushing a troll doll's hair and laughing out loud. I trolled the entire planet Earth. I trolled everybody. Everybody been trolled.
He probably won't.
Anyhow, he won't do it. But I wanted to paint the picture and put the visual out there in case he does, so that folks can come back and go, "Kedz, he had a doll, he had a troll doll, he got a troll doll for real." Anyways, moving on to Victor Perez, my guy Victor. NFC North news on X. Keenan Allen, when asked which player on the Bears he's most excited to play with this season, Justin Fields, 100%. So there's your backup, Nomad, for the statement that you were making. The one thing that I did notice, and I did touch on Tyreek Hill a little bit earlier today, is Tyreek Hill, as soon as the trade went off, very quickly went Justin Fields, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. Oh my goodness, emoji. Just an emoji of a guy. Oh, in any event. Yeah, Tariq. Yeah, you know what it is now. You get it. I think the rest of the world should start to get it. But some people are a little slow on the uptake. Daryl Johnson. Kedz, can you look up the number of games in JF1's career that he had the lead in the fourth quarter and the defense let the lead slip away? Interesting.
About 3 or 4 of them.
Detroit comes to mind.
About 3 or 4.
Definitely the Detroit game. There's more than 4. There's at least 3 more in like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I had those surgically removed from my brain.
Yeah, I was just going with this year, man. I was just going with this past season.
About 3 or 4. About 3 or 4 that I think of off the top of my head, Daryl. That's the ones that come off the top of my head. I'd have to dive in there, but it's probably more.
I feel like it's a solid 7. Yeah, I think it's a solid 7 game.
The answer is too many.
Yeah, most definitely. I think probably 7. But we'll look at that for you, Daryl, and see if we can get you a real answer. Might not be on this show though. And you know what, Daryl? If I don't get you an answer on this show, holler at me on Monday and we'll get you an answer for sure. King Booker World, our guy, original No Maniac. Soon they will say Fields should be a wide receiver. I'm surprised I haven't heard that yet. Where's Bill Polian at? Is Bill Polian around?
Hey, kids, actually it has been on the show that comes on before Undisputed.
National platform show too.
Yeah, Canton. On the Canton show, he sat up and said that it would be great to have Caleb Williams as the quarterback and Justin Fields moved over to receiver. That was said a couple days ago on their show before the Undisputed show. So, yes, it's already been put out there via the national media.
That was some BS, King. That was some BS, straight BS. Whenever I see stuff like that, King, man, if you don't brush that off your shoulder, I know something, man. Scrape that right on off your shoulder, homie. That's just some BS. People want to spin narratives to try to get, views and clicks. They knew if somebody was going to always cut that little segment out and put it somewhere, and it's going to take off on social media. You got to know that. They know what they're doing.
Man, like now I'm right there with Chris. I hope he's got I hope Poles has the biggest troll doll ever made ready for
and he
press
can do it. He can do it in such a subtle, non-trollish way that people know, look, they were wrong.
Hey, Tim Bear said Greg Jennings wanted to slap him.
he did have that look on his face. He did. He really did.
I find that so weird with Greg Jennings. Man, I find it so weird. How's the Green Bay Packer? How is he the one on the panel who's sticking up for Justin Fields? I just find it odd. Anyhow,
man, it's just
ball is no ball, man.
Man, it's straight BS, man. King, don't even worry about that. You know what time it is. They just want the clicks. Cut it out, put it on social media, get some attention.
All right, we're gonna move over to howdy partner. Howdy partner. So JF 199 for y'all. So just a little bit of love for us and a little bit of love for JF1. I'm with it.
Appreciate it.
Smitty, our guy Smitty. If Poles is looking to include a player in the trade package for one, which team do you want to speak with the most?
Wow. Can I answer that right quick?
Please.
Okay.
I would have said before we grabbed Keenan Allen, I would have said Washington and Jahan Dotson. But now that we got Keenan Allen and probably more draft picks coming, now I would say Jonathan Allen from Washington. That would be the guy that I go after. But I don't know that we have the salary situation. Yes. I don't know that we have the situation.
We're down to $27 million. Keenan Allen costs us $23 million.
Right. So we're going to need somebody that has a good player on a rookie contract. Probably makes the most sense, right? And so whoever that is, I don't know if Barmore is still on a rookie contract, but
Patriots, you think Christian Barmore.
Right. Somebody's got to be on a rookie contract. You can't take Jonathan Allen as much as you might want him because we just don't have the flexibility to restructure him.
Well, Kayvon Thibodeau in New York.
There's another guy.
You're on a rookie?
They just got who else did they just got? Who else did they just get? They just got DJ Wonnum. Then oh no, who just
Well, that was-
No.
got another edge rusher? I know that. I just can't
I
think.
think you're right.
Maybe that's a plan, man, because they did just get another edge rusher out of nowhere. Brian Burns, man. What are we thinking about, man?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So think about that for a second, kids. Think about that, Smitty. They just out of nowhere went and signed Brian Burns, knowing they have Kayvon Thibodeau. Brian Burns' contract is huge. And why would
So's
they do
Daniel
that?
Jones
Why would they do
contract.
that now and not be thinking about what kind of flexibility we might need moving forward? What it says to me is exactly what we're sitting here saying. Maybe they got him as a possible replacement in case we have to use Kayvon Thibodeau in a trade scenario. Is that possible, fellas?
Well, to me, the only logical trade, the only trade that probably is going to happen is 1 to 2, because they can extort extra picks from Washington.
Going off the rails, man. We was talking about Thibodeau and the pick here.
Well, I thought you were addressing the question here.
I am. I think that's what he was trying to get at.
He ain't said nothing about no Thibodeau in the question. He said, which team do you speak with the most?
Go ahead, man.
No, I was just going to say I don't think there's another trade that's even going to be breached. Caleb Williams wants to be in Washington, and that's where he's going to end up because they have the most. And the added value is that you're only moving down one spot. So go ahead, talk about Thibodeau.
Here we go. So here's where I slightly disagree with Chris, because just for the sake of negotiation, that's really what we're talking about here. For the sake of negotiation, the New York Giants kind of have to be in the conversation. A, for where they sit in the draft. B, because they're a direct rival with Washington. Washington does not want New York to have anything to do with the tippy top of this draft. They don't. If they lose Caleb Williams to New York, they're never going to hear the end of it from their fan base. So, I knowing the New England Patriots and how much they hate to move in drafts at all, trade in any capacity, I would be very surprised if we see much traction by way of that third pick. That's just me. If they're really interested in trading up for a QB, maybe, but odds are they have their heart set on somebody that will more naturally fall to them. The similar things to be said about the Arizona Cardinals. They've got 3 picks early in the draft. I just don't see them moving anywhere like up or back. They can sit there and get themselves a wide receiver for Kyler Murray, and away they go. Right? They still got 2 more picks in that first round to fulfill what they need. So the 2 guys who jump out to me is clearly the Commanders, and right next to them, the New York Giants.
Hey, Ken, before you get to this next one, there is now I got to say this. Now everybody's kind of, on Twitter, kind of make light of Antonio Brown's breaking news little thing that he's got going on. I don't so much, man, because so far he's been hitting home runs. He's been hitting them out of the park. And I think a day ago, I think he said that the Bears were in conversation. They almost have a deal done to move that pick to the Raiders. And how about this? I didn't want to believe that, but I know there's a possibility that the conversation could be going on. You know what I mean? Because we absolutely do not know, but the conversation could be going on as a possibility. How that leaked out and got to Antonio Brown could be some good diligence by Ryan Poles too. Same way that New York Giants story got out and the Patriots story got out. That could be due diligence, man. And so I just wanted to put that on out there, man. I wouldn't ignore Antonio Brown if I was you guys. I know everybody thinks he's crazy, but I wouldn't ignore that man right now.
So I was just teasing about the crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was just teasing. Right. At end of the day, that trade is viable if like a player must be included. Like without Max Crosby, you don't want to go to 13. You're going no. We went to 9 because we got the player.
Max Crosby, he'd be Tyree Wilson because he's on the
rookie contract. Tyree Wilson?
It'd be Tyree Wilson because he's on a rookie contract.
Give us some background here. I have Raider fan friends, but I don't.
Tyree Wilson was a big giant pterodactyl arm edge rusher. Everybody wants
pterodactyls have wings. I'm just.
Well, he's got arms of that kind of.
that kind of wingspan you're trying to say?
You don't remember
I'm just saying, they don't have arms, so like I'm thinking like
they got arms, they got wings on it, but yeah,
fair.
that would be the guy if they were to move and do something with the Raiders. It'd have to be that guy just because he's on a rookie contract. We can't afford Mac Crosby right now.
This is
I don't
also a
see it
fact.
happening. I don't see it happening myself. I think what's really going to happen is, again, it's going to be Washington is definitely not going to want New York to catapult them and get to that number one spot. So, of course, by them already getting rid of their starting quarterback to make room, and then they did some switching of the picks just to make sure that those numbers are favorable to whoever they decide to give those picks to, along with they know what they got to give up. So I see it where it's going to be Washington moving up to that 1, and then New York coming up to 2. So, I mean, how wouldn't you want to be the Bears? How great is it to be the Bears? Because now you get an opportunity to fulfill what you didn't get a chance to do last year, which was trade back twice. Now if the Raiders want to come up, they can come up and get number 9.
Well,
See, that makes more sense to me. Maybe they're talking about. You're right, though. Maybe they're talking about dealing the 9 to the Raiders, because that just makes more sense.
See that. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
a lot of
players are required
to play, man. Let's go ahead and let's get to the next one.
All right, my guy DG, Daryl Gibson. The demonization of the anti-JF1 media is an attempt to loudly and unsuccessfully undermine and control General Manager Poles. And he's laughing about it.
Isn't that?
And I'm so with you, bro.
Isn't that what we've been saying here for the whole time? They're trying to, and you know what, Daryl? What's funny about it? Had it not, and I'm not going to give just wholly, I'm not going to pat ourselves on the back too much, but I am going to give us some credit. Without shows like ours, platforms like ours, and just social media in general, without that, you best believe, Daryl, that they would have ran away with that narrative and they would be successful by now. Ryan Poles would be feeling that pressure to do exactly what they tell him to do, and they know it. This is the first year in my life, in my entire life, and I'm going to give myself and this network some credit for standing up for what we believe is right. Give this kid a chance. You haven't put the right infrastructure around him. Why would you drop him off now and try to build something because of this new shiny toy everybody in the media who don't play football are telling you need to go and get? They would have ran away and scored a touchdown with that argument. But if it's not for channels like this one and other channels that are out there, social media, I'm telling you, we'd be in a different place right now. Ryan Poles is doing exactly what a GM should do. Get all you can get out of this situation and don't worry about no one player. You got somebody that you think you can build around, you do that and ignore all the chatter that's going on out there. Thank yourself. Everybody in the chat, you should thank yourselves and everybody that's out there supporting this general manager and the quarterback that we have on the roster. So shout out to you, Daryl, for that, man.
Yes, indeed, Daryl. One love to you, and thanks for always supporting the network, brother. We appreciate it. FFG Style, another original No Maniac. Poles is cooking. First adding extensions, media hype, deceptive free agency, and now bountiful draft. Can you smell what Poles is cooking? Oh man, it smells like gumbo, Keith. It smell like gumbo. It smell like gumbo, bro. All the good stuff is in the pot, and he's just swishing it about. I got no problems with this. I'm just waiting for that defensive end to drop in. That's all. You just drop that in there.
You know what, kid? I think the man,
sausage.
I think the man had a hell of a plan. I think his team had a hell of a plan going into this free agency. I think they had boundaries. I think they had a marker of what they would pay for this or what they would pay for that. And when they didn't, those players, exceeded those markers or those boundaries, they moved on and did the next best thing. I think in free agency, you count it all up. You can consider Jalen Johnson one of the pieces that we just received because we could have lost Jalen Johnson. You grab DeAndre Swift. You grab Gerald Everett. You grab Keenan Allen. And who else am I missing? Let me see. You just that's
Coleman. You got yourself. You got yourself Ryan Bates. You really you got yourself a brand new starting safety on the other side. He's doing all the right stuff, man. I wish I could argue with any one of these maneuvers. The folks out there in the world are a little bit upset that some of these maneuvers were gigantic, cap room destroying maneuvers. I appreciate that. I applaud that. That means that this guy's about his numbers. He knows what he's doing, and he's getting the key personnel in place to do some damage next year. And I'll say it now, Bears won't win the Super Bowl next year, guys. I'm a little worried about that. But I'm not, because we're definitely going to be a playoff team. Let's say that out loud. I said it out loud. Playoff team, y'all. That's what we're talking about.
Manifest.
I'm not putting no ceiling on us, man. But let's move on to the next chat.
Yes, sir. Well, considering that was all of them, we're good to go. All you guys, all you super chatters, all you new No Maniacs, thanks a million. We love all of the interaction in the chat. Keep it coming.
Can't forget the sports zoners.
And the Zoniacs. The Zoniacs. We love it. Unite. All right, brother. We're good to go.
Let's go around the horn. Chris, you want to pop back in here and give some pleasantries before we pop out? That'd be great.
Yeah, listen, I want to say shout out to everybody who came in the chat. Got a lot of new folks in there. We got about 339 people in there now. Listen, I'm so glad you guys are supporting us and subscribing, sharing, hitting the notification buttons, because you never know when something's going to happen. Just shout out to my boy, Core DJ A Breeze. Homeboy, love to see you in with us. All our regulars. Every Bear Down Davis. I said your name right. I'm so proud of myself. Listen, guys, in the next week, we're going to have some answers. Get ready. I am in Bear Down.
All right. Let me try and hit some of these folks in the chat. J2K, AC Adam. Just go through some of these original No Maniacs. Clearly Barrelissimo, even Muck the General, Leo Factor, Plank's my guy. Plank's the number one No Maniac. I gotta give it to Plank. He's always the first guy live and direct. King Book of World, thanks for sending us a little bit of love today. Who else we got? T3P in the building. J2K, Cornelius Squalls. Man, so even Leonidas, big love to you, brother. Brad Holmes, just giving a shout to some of the OG folks out here. Don Burr, wherever you are. Don Burr, Brad Holmes, Jameer Gibbs. We'll also give some love to Patty Laura, Armando Laura. Good to see you guys out there. Katrina, some of the new heads out there. Jose Sanchez, thanks for sending us some love today, Jose. Jason, Ron Winarski, good to see you, Ron. Dylan Prescott, Knox Corbett, good to see you, brother. B-Side Radio, man, like there's so many newer folks out here. Nathan Red, Howdy Partner, thanks for sending us some love, Howdy. Gavin J, Lou Lasha, thanks for sending us some love and supporting so hard. We love it. T Smith, man, so many new heads out there too, man. Channel is growing. Keep liking, sharing, and subscribing, and by all means, comment on the YouTube channel as well. We appreciate it all. And once more, bear down. Thanks for supporting, guys. We love you.
It's all you, Key.
All right. Well, hey, to our No Maniacs and to our sports zoners or our Zoniacs, I want to say thank you very much for chiming in with us today, jumping in the chat. Always great spirited chat as always. I just want to say one quick thing. Please do not mistake emotion for passion. There's two different things, and in business, every once in a while, there's some passion attached to it, especially when you feel strongly about something. But either way, I digress. To my guys on the panel, as always, it's always a pleasure. Kedz, Chris, Nomad, Brian in the back, and to our boy that's out there in AZ enjoying the sun. Our man, the SuperBack. Hey, brother, enjoy yourself. Great weekend to everybody. Pleasure talking football with you guys, man. I really do appreciate you guys as always. For those of y'all, I will be tonight as a guest on the Chicago Sports Podcast. So if you guys want to come over around 9 p.m. Central Standard Time and chime in and help those guys out and encourage me along the way, I do appreciate it. But no, man, my man, as always, man, it's always a pleasure. Thank you again for this opportunity. And I love chopping it up with you guys. I just want to say to everybody before I get out of here, be blessed to be a blessing. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe out there, you guys. Peace and love.
You're more than welcome, brother. And I want to say to you guys, thank you again for coming to the show, man. We try to show up and show out every time we go live, and you guys respond to it, and you guys love it, and we love you guys for loving it. I just want to say, man, we saw 300 plus people, somewhere upwards of 350. And like I keep saying, every day I'm going to come and ask that if we get at least half those people in this chat that are watching it and engaging in it live, whether you're on audio or whatever platform you choose to stream it on, please, if we can get at least half the people that we see here live that have not engaged, have not subscribed, if we can get half those people, I'm telling you, where we're going to be in a few months from now is going to be crazy. And you guys are going to be responsible for it. And so that, just keep the subs coming, keep the likes up, and making sure you sharing this information and this show with the people that you care about and friends of yours, family, whoever they may be. But keep doing that for us. And I'm telling you, before you know it, we're going to be right next door to the people that you guys want us to be right next door to. And we're going to be a menace. That storm cloud you see brewing over top, that's over these negative reporters and their negativity that they bring into this space, that's us. That's the monster you're creating. You're making this. We're the storm cloud. And it's going to erupt on them, especially when we keep Justin Fields here. You just wait and see. So I appreciate you guys. One more time, man. Keep up the love. Keep up the subs. Keep up the likes. Keep sharing for everybody to know who we are, man. We appreciate you guys so much. And thank you for everybody that gave the super chats today, man. You're wonderful. But before we get out of here, I got to leave you guys with these famous words. Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
And maple syrup. Boom.
Bear down. Yeah.